Alrighty, good morning or good afternoon, where everybody is in the LinkedIn world. So today I'm going to be talking about this idea of really the inner critic that we all have within us. And speaking to so many entrepreneurs, this idea of just beating ourselves up is incredible. And I'm not going to say it's all bad because I really think for a lot of people, and a lot of people like we listen to, like Goggins talks about this, like people like are intense, right? We're intense people and we want success. But what happens is that like we have to realize that there's like more to our lives than just like our own financial success, and it's an extremely important part of our lives. We spend most of our day just focusing on this, whether it's actually doing the tasks or whether it's just working on just our minds of just like thinking about what's going on in business. When business is going great, everything in life seems to be going great, and when business is not doing great, we seem to like really be just beating ourselves up. So the question is what are we supposed to do about this inner critic? Because on the one hand, it really helps a lot of people and like sort of quote unquote inspires them to do big things. And Dean Graziosi and Ed Milet talk about the idea that it got them to where they were. Like honestly, that fear, that scarcity mindset really helped them do so well. But on the other hand, right, a lot of people just get so bummed out and burnt out, and you have like these entrepreneurs who are just like really trying and quote unquote hustling and putting in the grind and doing the grit, and like at the end of the day it's really like tiring and exhausting. So how do we actually balance this inner critic within us to really help quote unquote beat us up to inspire us, but then on the other hand really just be compassionate for ourselves and do the other way of just like, oh no, let's just take care of ourselves. And Brendan Bouchard, a gentleman who I listen to who's tremendous amount of, talks about these ideas like we have to protect ourselves also, and life doesn't have to be just like so intense all the time. And I really think there's like different camps of people. So if you're like the type of guy or gal who like likes the intensity, who really just be like really like going like being really intense about things and like really being structured and whatnot, then like that's great and that works for you. But if you're the type of person who just sees that and maybe like look at an Alex Hormozy and is like, oh my gosh, like Alex is incredible, he has such great stuff to share, but at the same time, like, am I going to be working as hard as him? And like the answer is like no, like that works for Alex. And like, I think he would say to you like, do you know I'm saying, like this is just what got him to where he got to. So understanding that we all have the different sides of us is going to be extremely important to us, and knowing where you are. And sometimes we could use that as a quote unquote inspiration to continue moving forward. Like when we're not in the mood to be, like I really got to do this. Like I really don't want to be doing that thing over there. But a different idea just to really think about this inner critic is to really understand that like sometimes we're going to be like so harsh on ourselves that it's not going to be productive. Right. At the end of the day, we are here to just get as much as we can get done, right, for whatever it is that we're working on, whether it's business or personal. And recognizing that if we can try to get back into the things as quickly as possible, so that's going to actually help us be more productive. Because at the end of the day, like, we need to get stuff done. We need to be taking action. And a lot of like the mindset work that I do is to help people take that action because they have those fears, they have those things that are holding them back. But if we could take more action, if we do certain things, then we'll actually be able to be more successful at whatever it is we're doing because we're going to be able to take the action quicker. So the type of inner critic that's actually going to be more detrimental to us is going to be the one that's going to be beating us up and like holding us down. It's like that person who's just like, I don't know if you've ever, when I used to like go swimming in the summers back in the day, it's like, you'd have those friends who just want to like pull you into the pool and like just hold you down. Like every time you try to get out, they would just like pull you back in. So like that's the type of inner critic that like we don't want, because all that's doing is it's actually delaying us from getting back and doing the things that we're looking to do. And I think every person has to be honest with themselves, understand, okay, what is this inner critic? Is this the type that's going to help inspire me and push me forward to take more action? Or is it the type of inner critic that's really going to just hold us back and not let us move forward? Because we're all going to have the ups and downs. And that's just like part of this journey of business, of life, whatever it is. And recognizing that, we're going to go up sometimes, but sometimes we have to realize that we're going to have those downs that are going to help us move forward. I was talking to one of my coaches just about like the energy that I want to be bringing into my day in terms of like my mindset and whatnot. And I was saying like, is it ideal to be living on this like level 10 energy? Like just as like, what, I am living at level 10 energy and like, this is the thing I'm looking to do. And he was saying how like there are certain people who could do that and maybe have like the Tony Robbins, like a handful of people who are like in the world who are like doing that, who are literally living every single day. They're getting themselves pumped up and juiced up and living on that level 10 energy. but then like their base lowers, which I don't think is a problem because now their base is just like they have a higher standard of living, which is awesome in terms of like what it is that they're doing. So recognizing that like the inner critic that we're going to be doing and we're having might help us move forward, and we're going to have the ups and we're going to have the downs, but as long as like we're moving our trajectory is really moving up and our base is constantly raising. So instead of like somebody gets burnt out, I hear this with like a lot of new entrepreneurs, like I'm making calls for like a couple of days or weeks, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden like I just get hit, and then like I'm out for like 2.5, 3, 4 days. I'm trying to like quote unquote get myself back into it, and like what are the things that we could do? So recognize that and being curious about that and understanding, you know what, these are the things that we need to be doing to get ourselves back into it, and being curious. And a lot of people aren't really focused on that. They aren't focused on like what it is that I'm doing to get myself into this mess. And then once I'm in the mess, how do I get myself out? And they're just like trying to get lucky with it. So we can actually, if you would like, I'm a huge proponent of journaling, right? If you write the things down that are going on and you can start to see the patterns in your life, okay, you know what? Maybe it's because, on day 3, when I started making the calls, X, Y, and Z was happening. And like, maybe that's a good time to take a break. So like, if I take like a 30-minute break over here or take the afternoon off, then like I'll be on for the next 3 days as opposed to just falling off the next day. And it's really just getting curious with ourselves or reminding ourselves and really understanding what it is that we're looking to do. Because when we're starting to beat ourselves up, it's not going to be helpful most of the time for the things that we're looking to do. It's not going to help us take that action and move forward and do all the things that we're looking to get accomplished. So understanding that this inner critic inside of us, yes, on the one hand, can help inspire us to be like, I'm going to, I'm doing terrible. I'm messing up all my stuff, but like, I'm going to be even better like tomorrow. And I'm really going to come back to it. But a lot of times there are a lot of people really giving them permission to understand, like, there are a lot of people out there who like don't do well with that inner critic, right? They understand that they need to be quote unquote grinding and having that grit and like really pushing themselves and working every single day and like trying to build something and have all their to-do lists to get done. And when they miss something, they just beat themselves up. And like, that's not okay, because what's going to happen is that they're going to fall back. They're going to be so upset. They're going to get into their heads and they're just going to start getting this bad cycle of like, oh, I messed up. Then like I got to push myself back and then I can't move forward. If we could just get ourselves out of that circle and like have compassion for yourself. Yeah, I messed up today. I didn't get to do all the things that I'm looking to do. But guess what? Like, I'm going to get it back tomorrow. And that's what I'm going to do. And if you can start thinking about this, and Simon Sinek beautifully talks about it. There's a gentleman who Simon actually gets it from, but like the infinite versus the finite games, and recognize, you know what, this is like a long game. Just because like I messed up today or something happened today, like I had to take my kid to the doctor, like I wasn't expecting to do that, but like, okay, I gotta roll with the punches, and recognizing that, you know what, I could be upset all day about it, and then just like, even when I have time to work, like be more upset. Or it's like, okay, let me just get this thing done because this is like a priority right now. Get it done and like move forward. And like, okay, I might have lost some time in my day, but like, how am I gonna get it back? Like, what am I gonna do to like make sure that I'm moving forward with these things? And recognize that it's gonna be really extremely impossible. Now, I just want to break down 3 different ideas. If anybody has any questions, feel free to put that in the chat. But 3 different ideas. Number 1 is just acknowledging the inner critic. So if you're the type of person who gets very emotional, who is just constantly beating yourself up, recognize that like that's a thing, and like we should start working on it. Get curious, start to journal, start to write the things down. So when those things do happen, we can actually start working on ourselves to get out of it a lot quicker. That's number 1. Number 2 is allow yourself to like take a break and take a pause. So many times we have people who are working so hard, and they don't want to stop because they know if they stop, then they're going to be like behind the 8 ball. But like sometimes like you have to slow down to speed up, as Coach Rich Litvin likes to talk about, and realizing that, you know what, no, sometimes I need a break. And like even the intense people that we all see who are going a lot, like they also need a break sometimes. They just don't post that they're taking those breaks. But like we need to understand that we need to have those breaks sometimes. And Gary Vee, I was listening to a video of Gary Vee yesterday, and he was talking about how this one content creator was talking about like, how am I supposed to do it? Like, I don't get burnt out just making content. And he was telling him, he's like, well, on the one hand, everybody needs to be posting like 90 or 100 pieces of content a day. But on the other hand, like maybe you're at the stage of your life where you need to take a break for 3 months. And he's like, and I know those are 2 totally opposite things, but what's going to help you be more productive in the long run? And recognizing that and understanding, you know what, maybe right now is the time I need a break. You know what, on Tuesday afternoons, the last 2 hours of the day, or maybe the first 2 hours of the day, like I need to like take a break. I need to go on a run. I need to like, do something just to like take a step back. So then when I come back, I'm even more effective. And if you could do those things and those small things and recognize those things, then we can actually be more productive at the end of the day. And the last piece is understanding that we have to embrace imperfection. Like things aren't going to go 100% right. Like I could I think everybody could guarantee you that it's going to go 100% not right. So recognizing that, okay, things aren't going to go right. You got to roll with the punches and understanding that, like, people are so intense because they're so involved with. I really believe, like, if there's someone in their heads with the time, right? They're like, I have a certain amount of time to get these things done. But like, if you think about it, like, we're always going to have a certain amount of time to get certain things done. So when are you ever going to take your foot off the brake? When are you ever going to have that time where you can actually relax and do the things that you're looking to do? So recognizing that we should constantly be raising our base level for success, recognizing that we should acknowledge the inner critic. We should start to get curious and understand, where is it that I am? Where am I coming into this? So I can actually start doing these certain things. So I'll be able to make sure that I'm actually being the most productive. Because at the end of the day, like, that's where I think most entrepreneurs want to be. They want to be the most productive, and really realize that the more action I could take, the more I can be be successful and whatnot. So recognize that is going to be extremely important. Understanding that is going to be even more important, and then implementing it is going to be the biggest. Taking that break if you need to, right? But be honest. Don't be like that person who I don't want to be that guy who's saying, like, oh, everybody should take a break, take every other day, take a vacation day. Like, be honest with yourself. Like, do you really need a break? And like, yeah, you're not gonna be into it all the time. That doesn't mean you need a break. But having the things that you're doing every single day to make sure that things are moving forward, and being honest with yourself, say, hey, you know what? This is what I messed up. This is what I need to do so I don't mess up anymore. And these are the things I need to start taking. And then if you just like embrace the imperfection, I'm telling you, things are going to end up turning a lot better, because you're going to start taking action. You're going to start taking more action. And people don't even know that. Like, if you look back at all the times that you got burnt out, recognize that, like, there's a pattern there, right? And if you like go back in a journal or into a time machine and recognize, you know what, the last 90 days, I every like 2 weeks, I like had a down, like I had like a down day or two, and I was like, oh, that's very curious. I'm very curious about that. Like, why is it that every 2 weeks I start feeling down? But people don't even know. They just get in there. It's like, oh, I always get down. But like, what does always mean? Right? That's like a question like a coach would ask. What does always mean? You always get down. So they're like, is it like every day? Is it like every week? Is it every month? Is it every 3 months? Is it once a year? Like, what does down mean? Oh, what does always mean? And if we can start being curious about that, then we can start moving forward and start to understand, what are the actions we need to start taking today, so we can start doing those things tomorrow. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. If anybody has anything else they would like to share, feel free to reach out, and I'll be happy to answer. Alrighty, hope you are doing well.